What's your name again? I'm sorry.
My name is Anthony Cavale.
Anthony. Okay. Hey, Anthony.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are
Good.
you?
Good. Could you present yourself, please, Anthony?
Yes, I am Anthony Cavale. I am the director of photography and editor of Cream.
Okay, cool. So tell me more about Cream.
Cream was a short film I made a year ago with my best friend Louis Panesi. Louis was the writer and director of the film, and it came about as a screenwriting project for our class at Arizona State. Everything was over Zoom because of COVID, and we got grouped up in the same breakout room, and I read his name. I'm like, "Are you Italian?" And he was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Me too. You want to be friends?" Yeah, like a stepbrothers moment. Like, I guess we're best friends now. And he pitched me his story. I pitched him mine, and I really liked his. I thought it was interesting and different. And what set him aside from everyone else was, well, I'm actually going to make it, because it was just a writing assignment. You
Okay.
didn't have to make it. And I was like, finally, yes, because the biggest struggle and frustration I was having at film school when you're a sophomore and you're in the lower production classes is that, at least for me personally, it was hard to find kids who actually wanted to make films. There's that great meme that I saw. It's like there's two lines. Everyone's in the line for wants to be a filmmaker, and then the line that says actually make films is empty.
Yeah.
Because I would ask kids, I'm like, hey, this weekend you want to, oh no, I'm going to a frat or I'm doing this. And we actually, on Halloween night, it was a Saturday night, and we spent 10 hours storyboarding.
Wow.
So once I saw that and he saw that in me, we understood we actually have the work ethic, and we take this very seriously. Like when we say we want to do this for a living, we mean it. And all of our other peers were out partying and having a good time Halloween night while we were,
They were having candies.
having candies.
So tell me more about the story of this movie.
So Lewis came up with it because the Arizona State program just announced its new film school that's separate from Herberger. It's its own thing, and it's called the Sidney Poirier Film School. And Sidney Poirier was the first African American to win Best Actor at the Oscars. And they were talking a lot about inclusion and telling more diverse story, having more empowering roles for women. And we were having a conversation because we were watching this documentary on drug addicts. I don't know if it was like in San Francisco or Detroit, but they were just, talking about this relationship between this pimp and this prostitute. And it was interesting because they didn't see it as that. They saw it as work. They took pride in their work. And our professor, saw it the same way. Like when he presented, we had this film sex and violence class, and when he talks about them, he's like, no, they're sex workers. Like this is a real profession, and we talked about it professionally, and he was like, wouldn't it be interesting if she overthrows him, because traditionally the prostitute's like weak. The pimp's always bitch slapping and can I cuss?
Yeah.
Oh, I just did. The pimp's always perceived as a male.
You do you.
Okay, cool. The pimp is always perceived as the dominant one, being abusive to his workers, and was like, well, wouldn't it be cool if she became empowered and like took over the boss, and became like the head of all the other prostitutes? And I was like, yeah, that's interesting. Like, that's funny. Like, it's cool. Like, it's different. Like, let's go for it.
How did this happen in the movie?
What do you mean by that?
Like, how did they overpower?
So she wanted to be the head prostitute. She's like, listen, this is a business for me. I understand how this stable runs. You should let me manage all these girls because you have too much on your hands. And he's laughing at her like, you can't manage them. You're just a prostitute. Like, stay in line. I'm the boss. Like, I'm the head guy. And she's like, this guy's dumb. He clearly doesn't know how to run his business. He clearly, all these other girls are doing their own side things that he doesn't know about. And she's trying to help. So she's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm not just going to take the money and run. I'm going to take over the position. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because she has that fork in the road where he goes upstairs. She looks at the gun. She looks at the crown. She could have just bailed, but she's like, you know what? No, I'm going to stand my ground, say what I'm going to say to him, and bow.
What about the artistic choices you have in this movie?
He wanted to, with the camera movement, Lewis is a big fan of Spike Lee. That's his favorite director. And he had me watch Crooklyn. And it was interesting because Crooklyn has that yellowish tint to it. And my house had that mustard walls. And when we came over, I'm like, bro, this kind of looks like Crooklyn, like just a little bit, with the coloring style. And we were big fans of Spike Lee's like handheld push in and just that raw, like in your face type of feel, because we could have put it on a stabilizer, we could have put it on a tripod, but to feel like you're actually in the room when I'm like whooshing back and forth, it just gave it that feel that you're there with them, which we liked.
Cool. One question about the actresses and the actor, but more about the actresses. Like, did you, because we were talking earlier with another filmmaker about like incarnating certain role. How do you feel about, because you're a young filmmaker, how do you feel about like giving directions to actors and actresses? Like, do you have to go and do research about the character? You have like your character study. Tell me more about how you handled this.
That's a great question. Really great question, because I've worked with students, actors, and then I've worked with professional theater actors, and I would say they were more professional. And I didn't have to give them much direction because they've already done their homework, like the 7 steps of acting. Who am I? What are my intentions? What are my backstory? We had conversations, and they were just like, yep, X, Y, and Z. I'm like, perfect. So there wasn't much of that conversation of who are you? It's, hey, I love what you're doing. Great. Let's try it this way. Say it with this tone or block it this way. And yeah, they were just great.
Cool. Any future projects?
Yes, there are 2. I'm making my capstone at Arizona State right now. It's about sexual assault. And then I have a project with Mike Traylor that I'm really, really excited about. It's called Lucky Day, and it is a horror comedy drama, and it should be out by next October. And my film should be out by that same time frame as well. So 2 projects going on.
You're gonna send us your movies?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Anthony, for being here with us
hey man
today.
Thank you,
and enjoy.
Yeah, will do. Thank you guys. I really appreciate your time and interviewing me. This is cool.
Thank you.